into the body of Narayana. Narayana is one of the expansions of Krishna. And his function is to create or emanate these souls and also the material energy. So the souls who are trapped in the material world go into like a dormant stage within the body of Narayana. And then he goes into a sleep called Yoga Nidra. And this Yoga Nidra, it's as if he becomes inert. But actually he is emanating the creative energy for the material world. See? Where does this energy come from? Where does this material energy come from? It has to come from God, right? And the same with the soul. There's no other place for the soul to come from.
So then when Narayan falls asleep, then when does he create another material world?
He dreams, and his dream is this world.
And then all the beings go into his dream?
That's right. See, but when God dreams, it's not like when we dream. You know, if you're having a bad dream and then you wake up, the dream is finished, you see? But when God dreams, his dreams are reality, at least for us. It's kind of hard to understand.
But then once he finishes dreaming, does he create another
Put the microphone. Put the microphone here.
But once he finishes dreaming, doesn't he create another material world?
Yes, over and over and over again. He creates the material world, then he destroys it. Then he creates it, then destroys it.
But the mortal beings go through all those cycles?
Yes. Because they're attached to the material consciousness. See? And when the material world is not manifest, they have no place to perform their material activities. So they just get reabsorbed within the body of Narayana to wait for the next material creation.
Oh, so they're also getting a miss out because they never get to go back to the spiritual world.
Until they go through this process and attain self-realization. Then they go to the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world to be with Krishna. Then they never go back to the material world after that.
But when they go to the spiritual world, are they still immortal?
Of course. In the spiritual world, we can actually realize our immortality, because in the spiritual world, our bodies are eternal, just like we are. Okay. Any other questions while we're at it? Huh? No more questions? No questions? Everybody understands everything? My godbrother Vishnu John had a cute trick. If there were no questions, he'd say, everybody understands everything? And people would go, yeah. He'd say, okay, lock the doors, bring the razors. Used to always get a laugh out of the crowd. But anyway, this knowledge, if you understand it nicely, then that's the end of this material existence for you. You can get out of this material world. You can transcend these material problems. Material problems mean, actually, opportunities. You know? I'm sure you've heard this a million times, that the Chinese character for problem also means opportunity, right? Or crisis. Because why? A crisis gives you the opportunity to change something. You see? Just like right now we're having a crisis in the financial world, and soon maybe in government and like that, because people aren't happy with the way that the economy is running. So crisis means that the thing is threatening to collapse. It's threatening to break down. But the opportunity involved is that, oh, now we could put things on a much better footing. We could make a better system. We could replace the old system with one that, works better. So similarly, when we have a problem in life, when we have a crisis in our life, or when something difficult comes, this is actually an opportunity to put our life on a more stable footing, on a stronger basis. For example, if we're in this material world and we're trying to enjoy life and we're trying to get by and like this, and it's so hard, it's so difficult. Maybe we know a little bit about this devotional service, this esoteric teaching, and we want to do something about it. But it's like we're so attached, or we're so deeply engaged in the affairs of the material world that we think we don't have time, or we don't have the energy, or something like that. And then Kṛṣṇa might see that and say, I think I'll give him a little help. And then so he arranges for, the marriage to break up, or you lose your job or your house or something like that. I've seen this happen so many times. Somebody will become a devotee, and then, well, that happened to Kanai Prabhu. That, oops, he became a devotee, and like 2 weeks later, his wife left him. Oh, you want to chant Hare Krishna? Bye. So, this probably was not a terribly stable relationship to begin with. But, similar things happen to me. Similar things happen to every devotee I know. That as soon as you actually make a commitment and say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to strive for this goal. I'm getting out of this material world. Something changes. And often your material circumstances will also change profoundly. Christina went through a similar experience. As soon as she made a commitment to this lifestyle, as soon as she decided, okay, this is really what I want to do with my life, then like, boom, bam, bang, bada bing, bada boom, right? Everything changed. And actually, all of our devotees kind of went through that. I went through that myself. So every time Kṛṣṇa sees, oh, somebody has an interest in this devotional service, very nice. I'll rearrange things so that they have easier time of it, or they have, better facility or less obstacles or something like that. And sometimes we go, no, wait a minute, wait, whoa, But these are just material things, they're going to go away anyway. We can't be too attached to them, because all material things are temporary, Actually, I'm very, very happy. You know why I'm happy? Because my job is to work myself out of a job. And I've done this again and again. You all know. You've seen it. That I'll get something going, some kind of service or some kind of preaching or something, and then I'll train up one of my devotees or disciples to do it, and then I'll give it to them. And then I have nothing to do. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, I know. Krishna will give me another idea. And then I'll go and do that, right? And expand things a little bit. And then I'll find somebody to take that. Okay? Here, you do this. And then I'm like, Haribol, and this goes on and on. So every time I come up with a new idea, it's like, well, how long is it going to take me to work myself out of this job, right? So this is my job. And all of the things I do are simply calculated to give opportunities to more and more and more people to actually engage in this process of developing consciousness. This advanced knowledge of consciousness, advanced science of consciousness. So you might say, well, if this was such a great thing, then, why doesn't everybody do it? And the answer is, it's not that easy. You have to be very competent, very intelligent, very pure. Really, the purity thing is the biggest qualification. So like we see that young children very easily start chanting and throw that thing in the swimming pool. we see that young children easily start chanting and start doing other forms of devotional service because they don't have these attachments to this false ego image that, like, oh, I'm Mr. Cool Guy, you know, I don't do that crazy stuff. You know, I do other crazy stuff. I don't do that. So it's much easier for young children to engage in devotional activities because their hearts are relatively pure. They don't have so much background of sinful activities and different kind of nonsense experiences, you know, like we do, you know. I had to go through the 60s and see all that craziness with drugs and rock and roll and, you know, all that nonsense politics and anti-war and this and that. That left an impression. And it took some time to get rid of those impressions. What to speak of the materialism, you know, in the family that I grew up in. So if a child grows up in a devotee family, they very easily take up this devotional service. And they get tremendous benefit from that because they have